In an informal survey that I took of some friends of mine, everyone seemed to have their own definition of hipster. But the thing that it came down to for most of them was that a hipster is someone who lives on the cutting edge. Someone who is doing things before everyone else is doing it and walking away from them before it goes out of style. So one person that was so hipster that he was doing hipster before hipster was even a thing is John the Baptist. John the Baptist is one of those great figures of Advent. He accompanies us during this time of preparation because he was the original one to call people to prepare the way for the Lord. See, John the Baptist was a hipster not just because of his clothes, his camel hair and leather belt, or even his earthy diet of, locusts and wild honey. He was hipster even more than that because he was following Jesus before it was cool. In fact, he became a disciple of Jesus from the womb. It was in that moment of the visitation where Mary's voice reached the ears of Elizabeth that the infant in her womb leaped for joy. And there in that moment, John the Baptist, some will say, received confirmation, was filled with the Holy Spirit to that degree that he leaped. The Holy Spirit moved him in all things. It moved him to be an independent thinker, to not go along with the thoughts of the time, to be that voice of one crying in the wilderness, unafraid of the thoughts of others. It moved him to take risks, to speak out even if it was uncomfortable, to speak out even to the point of giving his life eventually. John the Baptist was a sign of contradiction, both in his looks and also in his preaching. So much so that he challenged the system, calling those contemporaries of his a brood of vipers. He had a deep freedom in who he was and who he knew himself to be. For he was the one that was called to be the forerunner, to prepare the way. From the very moment that his birth was announced to Zechariah by the angel Gabriel, there was a mission there, and he lived deeply from his mission. Another friend of mine, kind of an outlier, defined hipsters as people who made him uncomfortable. I thought that was kind of a funny definition, but in some ways, it really fits John the Baptist. John the Baptist made the people of his day really uncomfortable. And that's something that we can take a lesson from, something that we can allow ourselves to be made uncomfortable by his preaching, by his teaching, and by his example. But also maybe some of us are called to step up and to be that sign of contradiction in today's world. Through this Advent, I want to challenge you to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, to shake people around you by your witness and your radical living, to not be afraid to follow Jesus Christ in a way that makes people turn their heads and say, what is that person doing? Because it's worth it to bear a radical witness to the King who is coming into this world. Happy Advent.